Good. Yep.
The following is the agenda for the regular Borough Council meeting of the Borough of Pompton Lakes Mayor and Council and Municipal Corporation in the County of Passaic. The meeting will begin at 7:30 p.m. on October 9, 2024 in the Municipal Building, 25 Lennox Avenue, Pompton Lakes, New Jersey. Consistent with the Open Public Meetings Act, the meeting will be open for public comments and shall be in accordance with the terms and conditions of the borough's municipal code and bylaws.
Please stand for a flag salute. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's wish all the residents down in Florida a healthy and safe outcome of what's going on right now. Okay, please sit. In conformance with the Open Public Meeting Law, Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, adequate notice of this meeting setting forth time, date, place, and purpose of this regular meeting through notice posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, mailed to all that have requested and paid for same, and published in Suburban Trends. Roll call, please.
Mayor Stout.
Here.
Council President Delorme.
Here.
Councilman Cruz.
Here.
Councilwoman Kent.
Here.
Councilwoman Kilburg.
Here.
Councilwoman Polidori.
Here.
Councilman Bennett.
Here.
With us this evening is our Borough Attorney Jay Rubenberg and our Borough Administrator Michael Doyle.
Okay, we're going to start with always an exciting thing for us in Pompton Lakes, swearing in 2 new police officers that'll have to go to training. So I'm going to let Liz start with the resolutions.
Okay, authorizing Resolution 23-378, authorizing the alternate rep appointment to the Borough of Pompton Lakes Police Department, Dennis Zabrowski.
Motion to approve Resolution 24-378.
So moved.
Councilman Cruz, Councilwoman Polidori, all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, it's a roll call, I'm sorry, roll call.
Yes. Councilwoman Polidori,
Yes.
Councilman Bennett,
Yes.
Councilman Cruz,
Yes.
Councilman Delorme,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kent,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kilburg.
Yes.
Resolution 24-379, authorizing alternate roof appointment to the Borough of Pompton Lakes Police Department, Gastro Ground School.
Motion to approve Resolution 24-379.
Motion.
Councilwoman Kilburg, Councilwoman Polidori, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Polidori,
Yes.
Councilman Bennett,
Yes.
Councilman Cruz,
Yes.
Councilman Delorme,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kent,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kilburg.
Yes.
Okay, it is my honor to swear in 2 new police officers here to our borough. It's always exciting to have new people starting here in our community. For the residents watching at home and here, this is replacing some officers that left, so we're not adding new officers at this moment to our police department. This is just replacing some that left. So with that, I'm going to ask Dennis and Gafar to come forward. Oh, we'll do one at a time. We'll do Dennis first, I'm sorry. And bring up any family you want to bring up with you.
Okay, how are you?
Get that? Get it. Okay.
Mayor,
Mayor.
left hand on the Bible, right hand up.
Left hand, yeah. There you go.
I state your name.
I,
Do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
I will bear true faith and allegiance
I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and the government established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people,
I will faithfully,
faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of
perform all the duties of
police officer
police officer
according to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Okay. Whoever you want to come up with you. Can you? Sure. Yes, no, you can stay here. Anybody with that? Anybody else? You good? Okay. Yes. I state your name.
I, Gavin Brennan,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
I will bear true faith and allegiance
I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and to the governments established
to the government established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state.
and in this state.
Under the authority of the people,
The authority of the people,
I will faithfully,
I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of
perform all the duties of
police officer
police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Welcome aboard. Liz, you want a picture with both, or?
Yeah, I want to get a picture of both of them, you and the chief.
Come on back. It's not working?
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
Anything you want to say?
I just wanted to say, we're very happy to have both candidates. We did an extensive background with both. We couldn't ask for better candidates. You know, I apologize, I know you don't bring from your department. Candidate, but that is a reflection on you and your department and what you're producing down in Hamilton. So, as your friend and candidate, I'm sorry, but as a chief, keep them coming.
Good. Good luck, guys. Thank you. As usual, this is your time to get out of the meeting, unless you'd like to stay for the whole meeting, and then you're more than welcome to stay. I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna clear that up. Mr. Hinton, you're not going with them? Mr. Hinton, you're not going with them? You're not walking out with them?
You want me to?
No, I didn't say that at all, I'm just asking.
A lot of questions,
Okay, let's start. So as they slowly work their way out. Great. Can I have a motion to open the meeting for public comments? Motion. Council President DeLine, Councilman Cruz, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? I'm sorry, does anybody from the audience want to speak?
We don't like.
Would anyone from the audience like to address us? Step up.
I help around.
Kathy Shortway, Pine Street. I'm here, well, you know me, garbage. But I wanted to come and say publicly, because I know, I don't want to always be the bearer of bad news, but I want to say publicly that Michael has done an outstanding job. I cannot believe the difference with the garbage through town. I really can't. It's amazing. It's been years and he cleaned it up and it looks great. It really, really, really does. So I still wanted to know if it my idea was ever considered. Remember I said hiring a retiree part-time, I never really got a straight answer, so if, maybe at some point, somebody tells me it's a go, or you're definitely not gonna consider it, but, kudos to Michael, because it really, the town looks so much better. Really
Great,
does.
thank you. Anyone else from the public like to address? Please step up. Man in black, please.
Yeah, I want to agree with Mrs. Randy Hinton, 443 Mount Colorado. I want to agree with Mrs. Shortline that the town looks so much better. And thank Michael and the council for all you guys have done. I just had a question on 24385, authorize the access agreement between the Borough of Pompton Lakes and Meridian.
Okay,
Thank you.
that's it. Anyone else from the public like to address? Seeing no one, can I have a motion to close the public session?
Oh, no.
Ed,
No,
Ed, you
no,
gotta leave the door
You have to
open.
leave the door open. Yeah, you
thank
can
you.
close it.
Can I have a motion to close the public session?
Motion. Second.
Councilman Bennett, Councilman Cruz, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? It's nice that someone comes up and makes nice statements too every once in a while. So I thank you for that. And Michael has worked very hard on doing that. He's put a lot of attention in working with the bid and the downtown stores and making calls and getting Sal and our building department involved with it. So I do give him kudos for a lot of that, what's going on. But it also is an education, right? So, and you've been part of that also, because I know you've gone to some of the stores trying to educate people about how to get rid of their waste and their cardboard and all those things. So with all those things combined, I think we're slowly working in the right direction. More can be done. I know we spoke to the union. Did we ever get back to the union?
We're discussing it as part of our budget for next year.
Yeah, so we are talking about it to see what we can do with it. We had to get the union to kind of listen to it at first, and they weren't 100% against it, but there's still some things going back and forth. Mike, you want to just, the ordinance 385, that's the Meridian?
Thank you, Mayor. So as the Borough Council is aware, as part of Meridia Capitagli's redevelopment agreement, they're to perform certain upgrades to the Borough Civic Center. So we're starting to prepare for those upgrades. In our preparation, we are purchasing a storage unit that will be placed at 11 Lenox Ave, next door to the police department's parking lot. That will house some of our equipment and confidential records for the borough. So that way we could clear out the civic center and that Meridia can then begin the demolition.
So that container's gonna go on the dirt lot, where the dentist building used to be. It's to store a lot of the stuff within the building, so they can start demolishing and doing what they have to do to the civic center. Okay,
Can I ask you a question?
sure.
What is the projected timeline for that?
The Meridia developer was provided comments back from us in response to their architectural plans. They needed some modifications. So it's my understanding that the architecturals are due back to us in 2 weeks, and at that point, we can then begin to project our schedule. However, Meridia has to begin and complete the upgrades before they're given their CO for the new project. So
Thank you.
they're.
Makes sense.
And we've met with them, and they've told us numerous times, this will not be at the end of the project. As soon as, because they have the materials there on site for what they're building inside to do what they need to do in the civic center. So once they get the approvals from us, they will simultaneously be doing both things.
Okay.
So we're hoping the next couple months, the civic center could be done, and then we could reopen it and use it.
That'd be fantastic.
Are they tearing down the whole building, or they're just gonna gut it and then add up?
The walls are gonna stay the same, but pretty
Okay.
much got it. New bathrooms, new locker room, new all these things. Second story just for storage, no real use upstairs. And then a small little kitchen put back in, and some changes to the way the inside was set up. And we removed some of the rooms in the back also. It'll be a nice looking building. We'll get rid of that awning in the front, and that whole doorway will change, all new siding on the outside, all new windows, doors, all new
Okay.
things. So it'll look nice when it's finished.
And if I just may add,
Sure.
once the final architectural plans are received, I'll distribute them for your review.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay, approval of minutes. Motion to approve the following minutes. Regular meeting minutes, September 25th, 2024. Closed session meeting minutes, September 25th, 2024.
I'm not, exactly.
You want to close it for a little second?
Yeah.
But do you want me to just tell them?
They're slowly getting their way
I
out.
can just tell them they're moving out.
Yeah, they're moving now.
So I need a motion for the regular meeting minutes and closed session meeting minutes.
So moved.
Councilwoman Kilberg,
Second.
Councilman Cruz, all in favor?
Aye.
Mayor voting present. One present,
I'm voting present as well.
two presents. Good?
Good?
Authorizing payment of bills, a wire in the amount of $2,765,290.72. Motion to approve the following list as stated below.
So moved.
Council President Devine,
Second?
Councilwoman Kent, all in favor?
Aye.
Against. Consent agenda, anybody need anything removed?
Yes, a few, actually. 381, 386, 389, 390, 397, 398.
Did you get all this list?
I think I 380.
81, 86, 89, 90, 97, 98.
Whereas the mayor and the borough council of the borough of Compton Lakes have reviewed the consent agenda consisting of various proposed resolutions, whereas the mayor and borough council of the borough of Compton Lakes does desire to remove resolutions for individual action from that agenda. Now therefore be it resolved that the following resolutions on the consent agenda are hereby approved. We go from 24,381 through.
No, 382, right?
I'm gonna pull through 24,398, and we're gonna be pulling 381, 386, 389, 390, 397, and 398. Correct?
Yes.
Okay, can I have a motion?
So moved.
Council President Devine,
Second?
Councilwoman Kent, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Mike, why don't you start with 381, but then the other ones
Wait,
are,
I think I can make this very easy for you, because 81, 89, and 90.
yeah, they're all the
question is
same, that's what I was gonna say, yeah.
So I noticed on the last agenda, we had one or two of the same. Are we having a problem implementing the new permitting?
No, so to answer your question, unfortunately, these 5 or 6 tree removal applications were subject to a clerical error on the application that was posted online. So we have since fixed that. We had an incorrect fee on the application.
Okay.
That people were paying the fee, so we have since fixed it. This cleans up what was left, and moving forward, we should be okay.
I
Okay,
believe we have one more.
There could be one more. Thank
Okay.
you, Liz.
all right, then we'll expect to see one more. And then 97 and 98 can be looked at together also. Did we come that much over on our initial projections for each one of those professionals?
Give me 1 second. Thank you. So
Dakotas, yeah, we've had a lot of work with them.
So I went through all of our borough professional contracts this past month to see where we were in line with the contract not to exceed amount. So on for your consideration tonight is to amend the contract with borough labor attorney and borough engineer. The borough labor attorney contract was for a not to exceed of $30,000. And this is really in the beginning of the year, I kind of forecast where I think we'll be. And unfortunately, in this case, I under forecasted. So we are over on that contract. And I am recommending that we increase the labor attorney contract by $12,000 to a not to exceed of $42,000. And our overall attorney budget is down from last year. So we do have a surplus of funding.
And do you think your projected increase on both 97 and 98 will carry us through the rest of the year then?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
And so.
And what
just to
about the
cover-
engineers?
Just to cover 398 with the borough engineer, we've spent 36,570. The contract was for 30,000. The contract was for 25,000. I'm projecting a $15,000 increase to 40,000.
Okay. And then can you just explain in general 386 to me?
Of course, thank you. So Resolution 386 is to authorize a grant agreement with the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, Hazardous Discharge Site Remediation Fund, to remediate the former A1 Auto Body Shop. We got a grant of $47,000, which was taken into our budget at the last council meeting. So this is just a memorialization of the grant agreement that allows us to now spend down on the funds, to pay for the site investigation that we did, to pay for the Phase 2 environmental investigation that we did, and to pay for the removal of the building.
And then when that's complete, that's something we were looking at as for like some type of a small park or sitting area or?
Right, so once it's remediated, once the underground storage tank that was identified is removed, and once we demolish the building, we would turn it over to open space to look at to make something nice there.
Is that becoming part of the open space inventory?
We'd have to look with our planner to possibly identify.
It's not on now, I can tell you
on
that,
our-
right?
On our zoning map, if I'm correct, but we should do that at some point, once the
Yes, not on that.
property is available for use.
We couldn't use open space funds on it unless that was the case, correct?
Correct.
We can use open space funds to
Make improvements, yes.
make improvements on
Yes, we
something
changed-
that's
that's
not
what-
part of the open space
That's correct. We changed
inventory?
that a number of years ago, that we can use the open space for any open space purpose, not just what was acquired using open space funds.
Okay, I thought it was as long as it didn't have to be acquired, but it had to be part of open space.
I mean,
It's not on the Rossi.
it doesn't have to be on the roster.
That's, it's not on the
Right.
Rossi.
It does not have to
It
be.
does not have to be.
It does not, okay, perfect.
But to answer your question further, we'll look at some Passaic County grant funding for that site. We'll come up with a plan with the Open Space Committee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect.
All right, Liz, you can group them all together if you want.
So you want a motion?
Yeah, can I have a motion for, just list them all?
Resolution 24-381, 386, 389, 390, 397, and 398.
Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Councilwoman Polidori, Council President Devine, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay, Liz, whenever you're ready.
Ordinance for first reading, final adoption October 23rd, ordinance 2439, an ordinance authorizing the sale of certain property owned by the Borough of Pompton Lakes, Block 9509, Lot 7, and certain FCC licenses for radio broadcast stations not required for public purposes pursuant to state statute.
Okay, so this is about the radio station that we talked about last week. Motion to approve ordinance 24-39 for introduction.
So moved.
Council President Devine,
Second.
Councilwoman Kilberg, discussion?
Yes. I just want to talk through it. I just want you to explain it, that's all.
Sure, thank you. So again, as we talked about at the last council meeting, we have to follow state statute for the sale of public property, and specifically the sale of the radio station, which the governing body is venturing on doing so. So this ordinance begins the process. The process is anticipated to take about 2 months to complete. We do have an interested buyer, but however, we are going out for public bid as required by state statute. We have set a minimum bid based on appraisals, and this governing body, once this ordinance is adopted, will consider possibly an award of a contract to award the bid for the sale at a future council meeting.
How long is it in the bid process for?
So we have to introduce and adopt the sale of public property ordinance, and then at that point, the borough can solicit for bids. It'll most likely be on the street for about a month to solicit good bids. And I'm hoping at the November or December council meeting, this governing body can potentially consider an award.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Oh, roll call, I'm sorry, roll call.
Councilwoman Polidori.
Yes.
Councilman Bennett.
Yes.
Councilman Cruz.
Yes.
Councilman Dewan.
Yes.
Councilman Finn.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kilburg.
Yes.
Ordinance for second reading and final adoption have been advertised, this has been advertised and posted on the municipal bulletin board. Ordinance 2438, an ordinance amending Chapter 7 of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Pompton Lakes and amending fee for student parking permits in the Pond Hollow parking lot.
Motion to open meeting for public comments on ordinance 24-38.
Motion.
Councilwoman
Second.
Polidori, Councilman Cruz, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Anyone from the public like to address just this ordinance? Seeing no one, motion to close the public session for ordinance 24-38.
So moved.
Council President Devine,
Second.
Councilwoman Kilberg, all in favor?
Aye.
I do have a question, is that okay?
Sure.
Just quickly, Mike. I know it says amending the fee for student parking. It's not the fee that's changing, but the pay schedule on how, right?
Correct, so it's moving from a trimester payment basis to a monthly payment basis.
Okay.
We
That just-
simply just divided the trimester by 3.
Just concerned about the word.
Yeah.
Once I hear fee, I can imagine who's gonna start asking, are they making changes to it versus a pay schedule change?
Of course, and I would just like to add that I have a meeting next
Right.
week with the superintendent.
Perfect.
To discuss.
Yeah, so, and they've been made aware of it, so they're an idea.
Are they going to share that with the student body, that they know that if they don't opt out for the months that school's not in session, they're going to continue to be billed?
Of course, we drafted correspondence that we'll send out to the board, that we'll send out to the students.
Okay, motion to approve ordinance 24-38 for final adoption.
Motion.
Councilwoman
Second.
Polidori, Councilman Cruz, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Polidori.
Yes.
Councilman Bennett.
Yes.
Councilman Cruz.
Yes.
Councilman Deline.
Yes.
Councilwoman Henry.
Yes.
Councilwoman Surley.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Liz. Under my report, I'll start with a motion. We lost Greg from the ice cream station, who was on our health department. They came up with a name who was involved in the health field somehow, Allison Fasoletto. So I have a motion by myself with the advice and consent of council to appoint Allison Fasoletto as a member of the Board of Health to fill an unexpired term December 31st, 2024.
Second.
Council President Deline, Councilwoman Polidori, all in favor?
Aye.
Against?
I think it's just
Yeah, you made
the line.
Oh, I made the motion, yeah, okay. Okay, under my report, just today, I actually met with someone who's interested in making another film here in Pompton Lakes. He made the last one with Jerry Stiller. He's born and bred from Pompton Lakes. He lives in California now and makes movies, and he's coming back to make another movie. We're gonna have some more discussion. He has to get some more groups involved that he'd like to, but I think there's a good suggestion that there might be another movie made downtown here in Pompton Lakes, so that's always nice to see. I attended a personnel meeting. I attended an open space committee meeting. I attended an ordinance committee meeting where we discussed our concerns with the permit parking, and we'll have some more information coming out on that shortly to kind of fix those issues that we had. I had a wedding. What else did I have here? The ordinance committee, I had a meeting with the superintendent about looking into some of the work we're doing in the open space down at Hirschfield Park. They want some little improvements too, and they might be willing to talk to us about either helping with some cost or jumping in on some of the things they're doing. So I think our administrator is going to meet with them in the next week or two to also discuss one of the things that we're looking at that we didn't really talk about, but Michael tells me we're aware of it, was if we're going to put cameras down at Hirschfield Park, we need internet connection and service, which we don't have down there. The school is also looking to put cameras facing their side of the fields, and again, they don't have internet. So if we're looking at there's a cost involved in bringing internet down there. So if we're putting internet down there, they might jump in and use some of the internet to kind of put cameras down there. I think with all the improvements that we're going to put down there and the improvements, I think the school has some improvements going in also on their side. I think it's wise to put some cameras down there to make it work. So Michael, that's already in stage, right, the cameras for that?
I'll address that in my report.
Okay. And that's my report. Council President Deline.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a pretty short report. First of all, I want to congratulate our new patrol officers. One thing I noted back when we hired Patrolwoman Torres, who also came from Heldon, was how their officers showed up for her swearing in, and they did quite the same thing tonight too. And I just want to say that how impressive I do find Heldon's police force for doing something like that, for somebody that's leaving their force, but ultimately bettering their lives and their career by joining Pompton Lakes. So I just want to recognize them, because I think when you show up for somebody else, as you don't have to be there, and you still show up, that means a lot. And then finally, I didn't get to report at the last council meeting because I was ill. The MUA had their meeting on September 16th. I know it's a little bit old. However, one of the items on the meeting was a hearing for an updated sewer and water connection fees. They conducted an audit of the connection fees and capital expenses This hearing raised the per unit water connection fee from $1,403 per unit to $1,644 per unit. Sewer connection fees go from $6,635 a unit to $7,025 per unit. There is a 50% discount for nonprofit and affordable housing connections. So, for example, Capital Agri is already done. They've already got an agreement. But the next development that comes in, their sewer and water connection fees are going to be a little bit higher based on the audit conducted by the MUA. I'm not sure if the Passaic County Senior Housing already had an agreement in place for their sewer and water connection fees that they have upcoming, but because they are a nonprofit doing affordable housing, it's half of what those costs will be. And that concludes my report, Mayor.
And they are aware of that, I don't know how they figured that out. I got a call from the county executive saying, we only have to pay half the costs. I said, we don't run the MUA, you need to talk to them.
I'm sure they are well aware.
They were well aware of it. Somehow they knew that. Councilman Cruz.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I have a brief report as well. I was not able to attend the Board of Education meeting yesterday. I did have a work commitment, but I did reach out to Board Trustee Mike Vasaletto just to check in if there were any urgent matters that I need to share with the public, and he informed me there was not. But I do have a few updates for the district. The Pompton Lakes Board of Education is hiring permanent and substitute playground cafeteria aides immediate start. Please reach out to the Board of Education for more details. We do have a retiree, Lincoln special ed teacher, Patricia Barden. Her last day is December 31st, 2024. She's been with the school district for 2 decades as a special education teacher. I wish her well in her retirement. We have babysitting night. Steel Magnolias come out to support our robotics team. FTC Team Steel Magnolias, number 17009, is hosting a babysitting night. $15 per kid, Place Riverdale Community Center, and that's located at 57 Loy Avenue, Riverdale, starting already. Oh, this is starting in 2 days. October 11th, Friday night from 6:30 to 9, 2.5 hours. Please share that with family and friends. Lastly, we have a free child photo ID program. Protect Your Child is ages 3 through 12, October 12th. From 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., this is going to be held at the Pompton Lakes Masonic Hall, and that is 15 Hamburg Turnpike, Pompton Lakes. Another community service program of Genesis Lodge, number 88, free and accepted Masons. And all this is available to you on the district website, so please feel free to look there for more information. I attended the Pompton Lakes Court Prevention Coalition meeting, which was held on September 30th, 2024, and this is just around the dates of what's upcoming. We have the Fall Teen Summit, October 25th. The Elks Drug Awareness Walkout event is going to be held November 3rd. We do have the date for Walk of Hope, which is going to be Sunday, May 18th. If you don't remember, we had a great turnout. Probably over 200 plus people came out there, kids, parents, all support a great cause. And this is new. The coalition is partnering with the Athletic Booster Club to host a softball tournament event with kids from the high school. This is obviously future dates. This is going to be Saturday, April 5th, with a rain date of April 6th. I'm pretty sure there's going to be more information. It's going to be held at Independence Park. I'm actually looking forward to that. I can't wait to get up there and start
And
playing.
when do you make teams, or how does that work?
More details. He couldn't elaborate any more than that. Only the dates are in place. I'm pretty sure they're going to come out with more information in the upcoming weeks. And they are heading into the final drug-free community funding. That's a grant that they get yearly, I'm assuming, and it was out for, a couple of years. So now they're just working on new grants, obviously, for the program itself. And the next meeting is going to be October 28th, and I believe for the Board of Ed is in November. I'm sorry, I don't have the dates with me, but it is in November. And that'll do it for my report.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Kent.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to congratulate the patrolmen who are now appointed to the police department, and it always amazes me what a wonderful police department we have, and we hear them speak, one-on-one. I'm even more proud to know them, and I'm looking forward to working with them. Last meeting, Mayor, you asked me to update. We had a resident come here and ask about e-bikes. I did, and you asked me to reach out to the chief, which I did, so I'll just brief you on what the chief said. E-bikes right now are really not regulated under the state of New Jersey, so therefore there's no statute or regulations that regulates them as far as whether they have registration or not registration. But what we do have is that If you're under 14, you need to wear a helmet regardless. And there are 3 classes of bikes. There's class 1, so if that bike is able to travel less than 20 miles per hour and has no throttle, it's considered a class 1 and it's still a bike. And then you have a class 2 bike, which is 20 miles per hour with a throttle. And then there's a class 3 bike, which is 28 miles per hour with a throttle, and anything over 28 miles per hour that has the capability of running that fast is considered a motor vehicle. So right now, there's no registration, there's no markings, they really can't enforce anything.
But anything over 28 would be.
Anything over 28 is considered a motor vehicle, because it's it's electric, it's not a quote motor. So that's what throws it off. So we are going to have a new e-bike store in town. I think it's off of Wanacue.
Yep.
And they have reached out to the police department, and they've actually worked with our chief, and they've kind of displayed what kind of bikes they're going to have. It sounds like a really nice operation. So we're going to be, our police department is going to be more involved in that because it's going to be right here in town. So they seem to be happy to work with Chief Clark.
And the one thing I'll add to that is any bike can't be on the sidewalk downtown anyway. So they can't be riding an electric bike, an e-bike, or even a regular bike on the sidewalk.
Okay, yeah, and he said until there's more protective statutes or ordinances from the state, there's really not much more they can do. That's just the bottom line, so not much. So if you have any more questions on that, I'll take them back and I can talk to the chief on that. This is the Fire Prevention Month, and our Pompton Lakes Volunteer Fire Department is having an open house on October 14th from 6 p.m. to 8, and they're going to have demonstrations at the firehouse, and the whole family is welcome to come. It is free. It is also Fire Prevention Month. There's a big fundraiser going on, so if you can please donate to our very important volunteer fire department, it would be very appreciated. CERT training is scheduled for October 16th at 7:30, so if you're a CERT member, you may want to attend. It's going to be a tabletop exercise, and it will be held at the First Aid Squad. I signed off on the borough bills. I attended with the mayor an open space meeting with Mayor Mike, Council Liaison Pelladori, and the borough administrator on upcoming programs and the financing over the projects for the next 5 years. And we are meeting tomorrow, Thursday, to go over that with the county, with the committee members. I want to compliment the Pompton Lakes Riverdale Youth Organization over in Carlo Field and the executive board. They completed the press box repair. It looks beautiful. More important, it is safe, and the coaches and the children now can be very safe around it, and no one's going to fall out of that thing. So I'm very happy about it, and it was a good expenditure of our open space money. It was long time to do that, and very happy to be a part of that. I attended the Chamber of Commerce monthly meeting, and we discussed the garbage cans, as Mrs. Shortway mentioned. The trees were pruned downtown, and the pruning is finished. And we have a sign program and a facade program, grant program. That's also with the bid, and an art contest for hanging up art projects with Val Cole. The car show is coming up this Sunday, October 13th, and that is their classic 25th annual classic car show. Cars, trucks, motorcycles, vans. It starts from 10 a.m., goes to 5 p.m., and there's going to be, I think, 58 different trophies given out for various areas and classics. Car show classics from like 1900 to 1940, so different eras, and special interest and motorcycles as well. So that is going to be a fun day. Bring your kids, come out and see it. I suppose I have really nice weather, so that we should be in good shape. The OEM, El Evangelistas group, notified us that there is a free boating class on November 17th at the Passaic County Academy over in Oldham Road in Wayne. So if you want to get your voter safety card, you can sign up, and if you have any questions, I guess you could call Al. That's coming up. And the next bid buck sale is set for November 16th at the high school parking lot. I believe it starts at 11, and the holiday stroll is for December 7th. Again, that. I want to thank the DPW and Mike Pirelli for working with them for installing the PAL benches that the borough was donated money for benches from the PAL when they dissolved and they went into the PLRIO. And they did install a basketball hoop at the Pacific Calico Park. I had a few people call. They called Lloyd, who was the previous director, crying. They were so happy to see Rich Fleischer's name on the bench. It's a beautiful dedication to someone who worked very, very hard for this town and did a lot with the basketball program and other community events as well. They're going to have an PAL photo opt just to take the picture with the family, probably in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Bobby, you have to be there for sure. Okay. And one of my favorite projects, which is done, half done anyway, I want to thank the PBA union members for agreeing to remove the soda machine. It's gone. It's at a better place, I'm sure. And I want to thank the DPW workers for moving it. I believe they were the ones who actually physically moved it, and I thank them very much. So now I'm going to work with our administrator to make the entrance to this building a little bit nicer, cleaner, and hopefully we're going to get nice display cases for the trophies for the police department. And I want to thank everybody for working cooperatively with that. It went pretty quickly. And that is my report.
Thank you. Councilwoman Polidori.
I don't think so.
I'm sorry, Councilwoman Kilburg.
Oh.
Sorry, skip check.
I would like to congratulate both of our new officers. They look pretty eager and happy to have them. I attended the flooded advisory board meeting. I learned something new every time I'm there. I didn't know that parts of our brook, I'm going to call it a brook, are owned by homeowners. So that's a little education for me. Because there are areas that are overgrown, and I didn't realize it wasn't the town that owned them, but I did watch the redevelopment meeting. I didn't attend, but I watched it. So I just have like a couple of questions.
Sure, I was there.
The two projects that were up, do they both have will call letters?
What's that?
Do they have will call letters from the MUA?
The first one does.
Okay.
The two projects were the gas station across from Lidl and the Smith Building, which is the corner
Yes.
of, I don't think the second one does,
Okay.
but the first one definitely does, because they're finished, they're ready to move.
Okay, so that project, when it, so the redevelopment agency voted, so they now go to the planning board, is that how it works?
It'll go to the planning board and then to
Okay.
us.
Okay,
They're presenting 17 to 22 units,
Yes.
depending on the number of parking spots the county's going to give them. The county might give them some parking spots in the new area that they're building. And by the way, they started to work on the shed for our salt. If you go by the old county garage, they've dug out foundations and they started, that's where they would give them some spots for parking. So if they do give them some spots, then the number would go up, but we're going to approve it between, same way that redevelopment and planning is going to approve it, between 17 and 22. So depending on what parking number, they need a parking number. So they're waiting to hear back from the county, so they haven't heard back from the county
do
yet.
they purchase those spots from the
Yes.
county? Okay, because they're not leased.
So, and the reason the county's a little excited, because remember, it's a nonprofit that's building the vet and senior housing. The money that they would collect on those parking spots, which is not $100, it's going to be thousands a year, would go right to them for their vets and senior programs. So it wouldn't go to the county.
Well, you're saying a year, so that's leased then, that's not purchased?
They're going to lease, yes, I'm sorry, they're going to lease spots from them, but in
Okay.
perpetuity, for, I think, 30 years, the length of the pilot. But the take out of that is the county does not get the money, it would go to the
Okay,
building itself.
okay. Thank you.
So I can tell you that the person who's in charge of the building is very excited about that money because every penny counts for her when she's handling with the vets and seniors. So she said we could do a lot of programs. Now, that's if they can make it work. I don't know if they can make it work.
Okay, thank you. That's it, that's my report.
That's your report. Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Polidori.
Thank you. I, along with a few other business owners in Pompton Lakes, served dinner at the free community dinner in Pompton Reformed Church this month. It is a wonderful program that they put on. There was a very long line this month, as there is every month. It's a free dinner that's put on for anyone in the community that wants to join. So we thank them for their contribution that they put out with all the hard work that they do to make sure that they have continued that program for as long as they have. I also attended the Prevention Coalition meeting. I learned a lot. That was a very productive meeting. I think I like the partnership that seems to be increasing between the coalition and the Elks. It
Yes.
looks like they're starting to work together on a lot of projects.
There's a lot of mutual programs that are beneficial, obviously, to both sides.
It's great because they have a lot of resources that I
Yes.
think as we continue to explore that partnership, we might be able to tap into. They haven't really
Yes.
had anywhere to deploy them before, so the coalition gives them a good platform. And if they have grant money for things, it's certainly worth
Absolutely.
exploring.
I agree.
I attended a fundraiser at the VFW. They continue to raise funds to offset some of the costs for some of the programs they're implementing in the community as well. I followed up with one of the members of the VFW. We are going to be reaching out to Michael, to our borough administrator soon. What I asked you last time in regards to the sizing of the brackets, I did get confirmation as far as the expenses. They're included. That fee includes the cost of the brackets. So now it's just a matter of figuring out if they're mounted in the same way or how we make that work. So we're not looking at any additional expense with that for the first year.
Thank you.
I also want to say congratulations to our oncoming officers. We do have an amazing police department. I was very happy at the interview process and know that the two gentlemen that we chose this evening will fit in well and continue to serve our community to the best. We have an amazing police department here. Reminder from DPW that on October 10th, leaf pickup starts, so check your calendars to make sure that you're on point with garbage collection. It does change for the fall. I also watched the redevelopment meeting, it was the Smith Building, which is the ice cream station, and the Sugin property. So, I would be curious to confirm which of those properties do I in fact have the will call. And I have to say, it's been an ongoing discussion up here at the council level that we've continued to ask for increased information. We've continued to ask for, where we fit in, increased oversight, at least some information as some of the projects that are coming down the pipeline, what the pilots are going to look like when we start to look at them. And we had a change of liaisonship for redevelopment this year, and so far, we are not having any of that information communicated to us. The meeting was rescheduled. And I know we all can look at the calendar, that's fine, but typically in the past, when we had Councilman DeLine, he would make us aware of meetings, he would make us aware of projects that were being presented, he would recap the meetings for us, he would make us aware of schedule and change dates. It kind of seems like if we're not staying on top of this, we're not getting any reports. I know the liaison wasn't here for the last meeting. I imagine you knew that these projects were being presented. I mean, I saw you at the meeting.
Yeah.
I did not see the liaison at the meeting, but I'm just wondering if we are making a constant ask on this day as on behalf of the council for more information and more oversight as it comes to redevelopment, talking about revisiting the plan, and then with no further communication, 2 more projects are being presented for additional housing. So I was just a little surprised by the way that went, that there's not been more communication, there's actually been less. I also attended the open space meeting, which was actually quite interesting. So I want to make the rest of my fellow council people aware of what transpired at that open space meeting. This was a continuation of a request that started with the new borough administrator when I was still the alternate for that committee almost 2 years ago. This was nothing new. We've already seen the first draft of the 5-year plan. As of 2023 and 2024, when I was removed from that position, that group has put forth no new projects, despite the fact that in the 2 years I worked with Councilman DeLine and the 2 and some odd years that I worked alone, we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 6 projects and have done nothing since. So I'm curious as to, and I know when we left that meeting, the conclusion of it was at least the gazebo and Phase 2 of Hirschfield Park, which have now been approved by Open Space for 2 years, would at least be presented to the council so that since we understand that the size and scope of this project has been approved, it could be put in front of the council for a final vote to move it forward. We're now kicking this down to another open space meeting, which puts this out to another council meeting. If there isn't a quorum, or for whatever reason, if this doesn't get moved through open space, or it comes back for revision, I'm not understanding why in the last 2 years, the process for moving projects forward has changed so dramatically that it's actually caused the group to come to a complete standstill. We have 2 things that have been approved for 2 years that should be in front of this council and should be moved forward. I am also going to point out something that took place at that meeting that was completely inappropriate. I walked into a meeting to look at a revision of a 5-year financial plan in a closed-door meeting with a liaison, myself, a mayor's alternate, Councilwoman Kent, the mayor, and the borough administrator, to which the Councilwoman Kent's husband was joining us, sitting at the table with a spreadsheet ready to move forward. I was not, as the liaison, made aware of this. The borough administrator was not made aware of this. It was a 15-minute argument that took place after that to ask that the volunteer of that group leave the meeting, which was not appropriate in attendance in the first place. I'm not sure how we got there, but we have a full committee on open space that was not made aware of this meeting. No one else was asked to join. No one else was asked to be in attendance. It was not noticed. It was not made public. So I think we're hitting a point up here where everyone is starting to just do whatever they want. And it's making it increasingly difficult to get anything done. We're spending a lot of time arguing back and forth about protocol and process. I just wanted the rest of you to be aware that was highly unusual, and I'm not really sure how we got there or how that decision was made. And I am going to end with this. It was on request of the mayor that we revisit this conversation at this meeting after further investigation. So I think Councilman Cruz, I did show this to you. You are now aware of the fact that I sat here and made a request that we at least change a seat or change the vantage point of some of his cameras.
That's not in the
So
report.
please don't interrupt me.
No, I am going to
No,
interrupt.
I'm going
I
to
run the
finish.
meeting. I run the meeting.
I'm going to finish my report
No,
either way.
I'm going to ask the attorney. That is not part of a council report.
I'm going to ask the attorney if
That is not part
this
of your report.
was the mayor's request on the record that we revisit this conversation at this meeting. I was accused of being wrong, told that I was wrong, and in fact,
That's
when
not
you
true.
watch the video, I'm going to continue. When you watch the video,
She may continue.
Sure.
thank you, and please don't interrupt me, because this is not a
Well,
dialogue,
then
it is a
I'm gonna
monologue.
I'm going to ask the attorney, if you go by our bylaws say,
You are,
a council report states what committees you've involved. This is not a committee report.
So what we have happening now
Yeah, can
is
you
a
let him
mayor that asked me to revisit this conversation when I had the answer. So because the answer will prove that he sat here and emphatically said that he watched the video and saw Councilman Bennon the entire time and was insistent upon it, when in fact was shown the video, Councilman Bennon was not at all visible. Now we are sitting in the reality of someone that made a statement that was completely erroneous and is being proven to be wrong and is trying to quiet me down.
Okay.
Upon your request,
We need to address this because this is not a council report. She wants to do this
you asked me to bring it up
No, I did
again, and
not.
I will play the video so
I
that
would
you
like
can
to
see
see that,
it.
and I will also state, I said he's not in the picture all the time. Okay, he's in the picture.
So we have a video, and every time we
Doesn't matter if
gaslight
he's
and we
in it
go
or-
round and
doesn't
round
matter
and
if
we
he's in
make
it or
things
not,
up.
by the way.
The video is the video, everyone can see it, the facts do not lie, the video does not lie.
Somebody is lying, I will tell you that. I don't know, because I did not hear it.
So, then watch the video.
I
When you
did not
claim
hear
you
the
watched the last
statement, the
one,
statements. No, hold on.
The attorney acts as parliamentarian.
yeah.
If the attorney is determined that Councilwoman Polidori may continue, then she may continue.
without interruption, please.
That's not what our bylaws state, then. I'm
No,
gonna say
no,
that.
no, but there's no other place in the meeting for her.
Privilege of the floor.
Correct. You could hold this for privilege.
Well,
You
I'm
are correct.
That
finished.
is
I
where it
wanted
should be
everyone to
done.
know that that
And you
was a
need to say it.
mistake, and that is my report.
Your report, but you just missed what the attorney said because you weren't listening. It should
I
be
could have
done.
saved it for privilege of the
No,
floor.
it's not you
but
could have.
his-
That's where it should have been done.
This is what happens when you prove someone wrong.
What,
I-
I'm stating a fact that the attorney said.
Another portion of the
Okay.
bylaws is that there shall not be personalities.
Correct.
So let's continue.
All right, but I'm stating a point just for all of us. We give a council report during our release.
We've provided a lot of latitude to people to report on things outside of their official duties as council.
But that's not what the bylaws state.
Again, if we're going to enforce the bylaws to the strict letter and say this is, you're
We
only
have
allowed
been.
to do it, we haven't. We've allowed people to talk about things that they have ancillarily been involved in on their personal lives and involved with their children's lives. So I think to say that now we're going to enforce that we're only talking about committees that we're sitting on, I think we have, like, if we've already given latitude, I have a hard time.
All right, and I have a hard time of no responses to the statements that she makes that could be true or could not be true, because there's not a dialogue at that
Well,
point. It's her statement.
The committee reports are not dialogue.
Correct, and that's what I'm trying to get to. There is no dialogue involved with that.
Well,
And that's where the issue
Well, to
becomes,
the
I'm
attorney's
talking
point,
to
privilege
these.
of the floor wouldn't be a dialogue either. That cannot be interrupted. So what would be the difference?
Because you can still talk under privilege of the floor. Someone else can say, I'd like to say something under privilege of the floor.
So you have privilege of the floor coming up.
Okay, but it's not about me. This is your problem, not mine.
I addressed my problem,
You didn't address, you made statements. That's what you did.
which is exactly what I wanted to do. So
Okay.
I feel complete.
Okay,
My
then if you
report
feel
is done.
complete, then I feel complete.
Perfect.
Perfect, let's move on. Councilman Bennett.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to congratulate our new officers for being sworn in. I look forward to working with you. I want to congratulate the Pompton Lakes High School Marching Band. Out of 3 competitions, they placed each time. Thank you to Mr. Scharschmidt for your leadership and all the other folks involved. I want to thank Paul Bastante and his coworker Chris for the interview for the film Friendly, Tolerable Characters of Pompton. The interview occurred last night, and it was friendly dialogue, speaking of dialogues. And lastly, the Girl Scout Trunk or Treat is scheduled for October 26th at Lakeside Middle School parking lot from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. It is a fundraiser for one of the Girl Scout troops. And that's my report, Mayor.
Okay, what's the date on it? Did you say that?
For the trunk or treat is October 26th,
26, okay. Thank
Lakeside
you.
Middle School parking lot.
Attorney's report.
Nothing this evening, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. So as you know, well, let me start by saying we just talked about the redevelopment agency. So I wanted to make the Borough Council aware that I've been made aware that a project may be forthcoming for 20 Wanacue Ave, my apologies. And I've received a draft of the project's pilot financials. So what I did was I reached out to our pilot advisor, Phoenix Advisors, to do a forensic audit of the pilot financials, so that when this governing body does come to the point where they hear the project, that we have backup documentation from our professionals that we can check against the redevelopment agency's professionals. So I am having Phoenix Advisors look at that, and the new redevelopment agency executive director is in communication with me. We are meeting regularly. We're talking on the phone, and he, as well, moving forward, will provide a report to the Borough Council, at which point we would hear a project. So I just wanted to make you aware of that.
Can you please repeat the address? What was the address again for the location?
20 Wanacue Ave, my apologies. I could have the address wrong, but it's the former gas station. Right.
Okay.
Thank you. I also met with the police department and a camera vendor. I would like to make the governing body aware that at a future council meeting, we'll most likely be considering a proposal to install cameras around town. So we're looking to install LPRs, license plate readers, at all of our entrances to Pompton Lakes. So Colfax Ave at Oakland, Ringwood Ave at Wanacue, Riverdale Road at Riverdale, Garden Road at Riverdale, and we're working with those municipalities to form a coalition to split the costs on the cameras. So I feel it would be really beneficial, and so does the police chief, that we would have a license plate reader at every single entrance to Pompton Lakes. It really would be crime prevention.
Is there any issue with other counties, like Riverdale being a different county? Does that play into this at all? No, okay.
So we're meeting on that, and I would like to just add that we are looking at our parks. We're identifying locations for cameras at Willow Field, Hirschfield Park, Harlow Field. We're working with those sports organizations to come up with a plan. So I would suspect that the governing body should hear from us before Christmas at some point on this project. So that's coming up. I would like to recognize the DPW for beginning the installation of our new street signs. They will be installed over the next few weeks on weekends and weekdays at night. So we're giving our Department of Public Works employees a little overtime to get this done before the snow comes.
And getting a lot of nice comments about the
right.
signs. A lot of people really like them.
Thank you. Lastly, I just wanted to highlight, and the mayor highlighted, that the ordinance committee did meet, and at the next council meeting under workshop, we will talk about the park permit procedures and what our recommendation is to amend the ordinance. And lastly, my apologies, I would like to add that I am working with the police department, and we are expected to roll out the Park mobile parking app by Thanksgiving. So we are working on that in the background, but you will see that forthcoming. So thank you. That's my report.
So I have some residents, how long will it take them to put up all the new street signs? To do the whole town?
3 weeks.
3 weeks, the whole town done?
It's half the town.
Half the town, that's what I was getting at.
Right. The south end will be included in the budget for next year.
Okay, so that's what some residents were confused about. So there'll be a year wait for some streets in the south
Right.
end when we redo this again. So everybody's aware of that. If anybody's asking, we're only doing half the town. Okay, any questions for the administrator?
I have a question. A little bit ago, we took a look at the stormwater inlets at Lenox Avenue and Ramapo, had them cleaned out. Doesn't seem like it solved the problem. And I think we were going to TV them. Did we end up doing that? Did we figure out what the problem is?
Thank you. So yes, we did. We brought in the city of Clifton, who we use under shared services to TV the line, deeper than what the county of Passaic did for us originally. So we went like hundreds of feet into the line. We did uncover bricks and concrete that were blockading the pipe. So at this point, we do feel that we have finally solved the issue, but in all transparency, we are waiting for a heavy rain to see what...
Was it cleared out then?
It was.
Yeah, but we also had an
clear.
issue with the last storm, right? Didn't the water come back up in the last storm?
Right, but since then, in the past 2 or 3 weeks, we have uncovered this concrete in
Oh,
the pipe.
It was
It's
after, okay, I thought it was
recent.
before.
So I'm just waiting on the next rainstorm.
Where was that?
It was in between Ramapo and Lincoln.
Okay.
It was further in the pipe than what the county had originally looked at.
Okay.
They didn't have the resources to do
Let's
it.
hope that's the only one we
Yeah.
got.
And I guess I would add that if that doesn't solve the problem, we'll have to bring back our borough engineer to further our investigation, which could
Jason
require pipe replacement. Let's
And,
hope
you know,
it's-
the history of that area has never been like this, so it could be that is the issue. Because for many, many years, we never had any flooding over
I mean,
there.
but it's been going on.
It has for a couple of years.
More than a couple of years. It's been going on for years, that particular intersection. So I think it's been blocked for quite a while.
So maybe that helps. I'm just hoping that helps.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I have questions. I have 3 quick questions. The sign replacement, I know we talked about this a couple months ago. Are we still moving forward with an auction on old signs?
We are. So the DPW is collecting the old signs as they as they install the new ones. And we'll probably do some sort of online auction on, they call it Municipid, $5. We'll come back to the governing
You
body.
can start with 20. We talked about that.
Well, it would be an auction, so people
Okay.
can out-auction other people.
Okay, good. That's a good way to
Which
make
should
money.
be fun. But it's coming up, probably over the winter.
And then the parks, so I just mentioned it in my report, I didn't hear you mention it for the upcoming workshop. When does this get put in front of the council to vote on moving forward with Phase 2 for Hirschfield?
I'm intending on putting that on for workshop at the October 23rd council meeting.
Is there a reason? The next meeting?
Yes.
And cameras, when you're looking at locations, one of the things that has come up numerous times in the past, and especially now with Phase 1, I know that's been delayed a little bit, but we are putting in that whole new facility, and one of the biggest requests of the public is, at least during open park hours, that the bathroom facilities be made available, and there's always been some question as to oversight. If this might be the right time then, if we are putting cameras in, can we look at that as a location for cameras so that we can use the bathrooms?
Absolutely. So we did go down there with our vendor. We're looking at cameras that would cover the full area by the benches, the full area by the playground, and the full parking lot up to the tennis courts.
Okay.
And then I do know that the Board of Ed is looking at
The other
potentially
side.
the fields,
Yeah.
but we
Okay.
can't get involved in that scope.
Okay.
But we're looking to cover the whole park.
But I think it's the same vendor too, right?
Yeah.
The same vendor.
I know one of the suggestions the chief had proposed initially was, I believe what they do in his hometown at the park is that there's an automatic locking mechanism that is on a timer for the bathrooms. Is that a possibility on the facility that we're putting in?
Absolutely. I believe it's in the bid specs, but I could be wrong. But
Okay.
I will follow up,
Thank you.
of course.
I have a question. I'd just like to know where we stand with Mr. Popovich, if that's been all taken care of, or Popov? Is that
Yes,
his name?
I'm glad you brought it up.
Oh.
It's in my written report to the governing body. But I am meeting with him tomorrow morning.
Oh, boy.
So moving forward, there's a lot of moving pieces with this project.
There is.
It's a very complex and complicated project. But tomorrow, we're meeting with our surveyor and our engineer to begin the construction plans.
Good.
Oh,
And,
so I thought-
and he's happy to the fact that there's being attention put to it, because it's been, to his
Well, it's been a lot of
defense,
years.
there's been a lot of years, it has. So he understands his light at the end of the tunnel now. There's some pieces on his end, there's some pieces on our end, things have to
Well, I
work out.
haven't seen him, so I just.
Well, to end on a light note, I was invited in his house for coffee.
Progress.
That's progress for sure.
Okay, anybody else?
Thank you.
No questions,
Okay.
Mayor.
No, but I think we should mention, because sometimes we forget, the Halloween hunt.
Yeah,
October
no,
20th.
yeah, but it's okay, well, you can say it. Yeah.
I think sometimes we forget to mention these things.
Yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah.
saw that. The Halloween hunt is October 20th, 2024, 7 PM at Hirschfield Park.
Yep, so just for everybody who's new watching that, you have to bring a flashlight and a bag, and you'll get a pumpkin and some treats, and they'll go out looking for a vice. It does happen at night, so make sure you bring a flashlight, and a parent should be required with anybody under the age of 10 to be responsible for the child. It's always a great time, big turnout.
Mayor, can I also mention, I thought it would have been mentioned in the bid liaison, but she didn't mention it. The October 19th, there's a scarecrow contest at the library and a pumpkin painting at the library lawn, and that's a lot of fun, and the kids I think they ordered 250 pumpkins
Yep.
to paint. That's all paid for by the bid. And the scarecrow contest, anybody can enter a scarecrow, and you win bid bucks, and I think they have first, second, and third place. So if you want to do something like that, you can have either your business or your group or your family, come out. That's a lot of fun. Grandchildren love to paint the pumpkins, and then they take them home. So just wanted I forgot to mention
Okay,
that.
thanks.
I have to mention one more thing too. Maria just reminded me, bid, Michael, I do have a date. The woman from the county had back-to-back COVID and the flu, so it took her a very long time to get back to me. So we are a little under the gun now. We have October 30th available at 10 a.m. I am able to use the first aid conference room, conference room upstairs at the first aid building. She sent me the current list of available grants and the flyer from the most recent town that presented this. If I forward all that to you, can we turn a flyer around and make it more Pompton Lakes and just start getting it out?
Of course, I'll send it to the bid's graphic designer, and we'll get something out to the
Okay, I'll send
community.
you everything tomorrow morning then. For those of you that don't know, we have a representative from the SBA at the county level coming in to speak to all of our business owners on what the county now has available by way of grant for business improvements, technology, enhancements, internal upgrades to your facility. So there's actually a lot of money at the county level, and they've been kind of trying to get the word out town by town to local business owners to see if they can get that money spent. So we have her coming to us on the 30th.
Okay, Mike, it's up to you. Workshop, best practice.
Thank you. So as some of you may be aware, it's an annual tradition that municipalities are to complete what they call a best practices inventory from the Department of Community Affairs, Division of Local Government Services. It's really for them to look at our operations, and they give us a ranked score based on our response, and that score determines how much state aid we get from the state. So I am happy to report I did work with the CFO. We scored a 43 when a minimum score is 26, so we are guaranteed all of our state aid. I did include the inventory in your packet. It kind of goes through questions on affordable housing, budget, internet connection, personnel, procurement, purchasing, you name it, redevelopment, utilities. So it's included in your packet. I'm not really looking for a discussion. It's just if anyone had any concerns with my responses, just let me know.
We're getting our state aid, that's all.
Yes.
Which is a lot to begin with, so. Any questions on it? No. Okay.
Thank you, Michael.
Motion to open the meeting for public comments.
So moved.
Council President Devine, Councilman Cruz, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Anyone from the public like to address? Step up.
Randy Hitton, 443 Montclair Avenue. On the administrator's report, it was talking about cameras at all the entrances of town. What is the reason for this? Has there been increased crime, or is it increased fears? I can understand possibly at the parks, you've had issues, but to the entrances of town, what do we need all these cameras for? And what's the approximate cost to the borough? Second, was Ackerman Road was recently paved, Ackerman Place, and last year Montclair Ave was paved. Both of those come together at Willard. There's a stop sign at Willard, and a stop sign across. But there's not a four-way stop there. And with the two roads recently paved, it's like the Autobahn. So I was wondering if the police department could stop there and keep an eye on. What happens is, there's only two exits for that area of town, at Willard and at Broad Street. Willard has a light at that intersection, Broad Street does not. So a lot of people fly down Ackerman, fly down Montclair to go to Broad Street, so they can go out, they don't have to wait for the light. Also, the love of my life was almost hit. At Broad Street, there's a stop sign at the end of Broad Street going into the quarry. A lot of those truckers don't stop there. They just run the stop sign. So the liaison to the police department, I'm not sure who it is, if they can talk to the police department and maybe post a car there to keep an eye on these truckers, because sometimes they're a little out of control. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to address? Seeing no one, can I have a motion to close the public session?
So moved.
Council
Second.
President Devine, Councilwoman Kilburg, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Oh, so the cameras coming in and out of town are really for warrants and things of major concerns from outside our town. So when they come in, it would pop up on the screen, there's a warrant out for this person, or this is an escaped convict, or whatever it's going to say. So it's important that the towns have that coming in, so they have some judgment of where they're coming with that. Mike, I'll have the DPW or the police take a look at the paving there. Along with the trucking. Now, the trucking is more important because I just met with the Tilcon representative, and, they do have their own police group, which I know you're aware of, that are on Broad Street all the time. That's one of their high priorities, the trucks running that stop sign. So if that's happening, I'm going to bring it to her attention again, and she'll talk to them. It's an iffy thing because our police needs to look at it too, because it's their own internal guys doing it, so they're not going to write tickets, but they're supposed to be calling the police department when they see the truck run the stop sign. We don't need those big trucks running the stop signs there or on Ringwood Avenue. So I'll ask the police to take a look, or Maria, maybe speak to the chief about doing a little patrolling in that Broad Street area. Where the two roads are meeting though, there never was a four-way stop sign there. I understand what you're saying, because it's paved, people like to go on a little faster.
Major accidents.
Yeah, but we'll take a look, Michael. I guess we'll take a look at that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Distracted. Approach the floor. Anybody approach the floor? Nope. Okay, motion adjourned into closed session.
So moved.
Council President
Second.
Devine, Councilman Cruz. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Thank you.
Any other Sunday, right? At the car show?
In closed session, we discussed personnel matters. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Councilman Devine,
I know.
Councilwoman Kilburg, all in favor?
I mean, you're